Hello, Healing Overflow family. Welcome back to Healing Overflow with Dr. Toy. I'm Dr. Toy. You already know I'm back. You're back. Thank you for your continued support. You keep listening. You keep watching. And it means the world to me. If you haven't seen season 1, you got to get caught up. Click that link below. That's the Linktree link, and you can watch all past and present podcasts. That was almost a tongue twister, but I got it out. So keep on watching. Share it. Especially share the episodes that really hit home for you and you know will help others, because you already know when you heal, your healing overflows, right? Okay. Also, don't forget to send in your Ask a Therapist questions to me. I'm the therapist. I'm going to answer them. Send it to my email, toyaj@pitt.edu, or click on that link below and ask your question, and I will answer it. If I answer it on air, you get a Starbucks gift card. You already know. All right, y'all. Let's get to my guest. I have been anticipating this episode for months, y'all. This is a topic that I was really interested in and didn't know as much as our guest. And I can't wait to introduce her. We finally nailed her down and got her into the studio. Y'all need to watch and listen to the end because there will be a demonstration. I have been so excited about this. So we finally got Lo in the Healing Overflow show. I had bars just now. I don't know. We are rapping and rhyming today. Lauren is her real name, but I want Lauren to introduce herself. And Lauren, just tell us who you are and what you do and how you are going to inform us and incite us today.
Thank you, Dr. Toy.
You're welcome.
So my name is Lauren, or Lo Nakamura. I am in my second year of my MSW program, so graduating in April. And I also am a Reiki master teacher. I teach a mindful movement yoga-based class. I'm an artist and a poet and a cat lover, just a lover of all types. And I am a Pittsburgh native. I was gone for about 8 years and came back in 2020 and just got stuck here. For better. We're going to say for better.
Yes.
It feels good to be back in Pittsburgh and to just be meeting members of different communities that I'm a part of and seeing how they can fuse together like this one. We had met each other maybe briefly, but over the summer, I really kind of put out there my intention of bridging social work and Reiki, other energy practices, and different types of healing. And then I was at the orientation for freshmen and was talking with someone about that intention of mine and how I was super excited that I had just taught my first Reiki class. And you overheard me in line for lunch and were like, oh my God, what? I have a podcast called Healing Overflow where I'm doing exactly that. So I think that was just a beautiful serendipitous moment and kind of exemplifies who I am and why we're here together today.
Absolutely. That is the true story, y'all. I overheard it, and I had wanted to get someone and had been trying to get someone that is a Reiki practitioner on the show, because that's something that most of us, including myself, don't know enough about. And what we know is probably untrue. And so I said, I need to get an expert, a specialist on. And we hit it off like that. Finally, I got our schedules together, and we are recording and airing this thing. So I'm really pleased to have you in the studio today. I love that you're getting an MSW. You know, I have an MSW from the University of Pittsburgh. I want to know more about what you plan to do with that MSW, and how does that go with being a Reiki practitioner? Like, you don't learn that in school, and like, what are you going to do with that? I'm really curious.
So I'm studying integrated healthcare in direct practice in the program, and I'm interested in doing therapy with folks and not just talk therapy. My lens is very somatic, so the mind and body connection. I've done years of talk therapy and felt like I kind of hit a ceiling, and then I discovered somatic therapy and feel like I'm able to really dive deeper into the themes in my life. Also healing that I might have carried from times that I don't remember, including maybe previous lives, if you believe in that. I certainly do. So I'd like to work with all types of individuals, especially with BIPOC individuals and just people in marginalized communities, to bring mental health and just overall health to the surface of conversations and collaborations. So I thought that I would want to work in a hospital and bring Reiki, be part of whatever movement is already happening to bring Reiki into more Western healing spaces. And I've realized through this program that I don't want to be a medical social worker. I think I want to work with different practitioners, maybe with doctors and psychiatrists, but in a very different environment and very different setting that feels more conducive to healing from my perspective.
I love it. You said so many good things. Healing Overflow family, you know I will talk about dropping gold nuggets. Lo dropped several gold nuggets just now, and I'm going to shine some light on them. I'm going to shine some light on them. And it brought up a plethora of questions. So I'm going to stick to just a few that popped in my head. I feel, from what you said, that goes together so well. And I'm wondering, first define what Reiki is. Are we pronouncing it correctly out here? And then talk about, because you brought up BIPOC, working with BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, people of color, folks. And I know, being a person of color, specifically Black, that we're like, what's Reiki? What's that? I don't, what is that? Voodoo? I don't know what that is. Is it sneaky? Is it trying to take over my spirit? I don't know. And I want you to explain what it is. And then I'm going to keep asking some more questions that might sound like I'm a critic, but I know what we're all thinking. And I want you to enlighten us. I want you to educate us about what it is. So go ahead. What is Reiki?
So, yes, you're saying it right. It's ray and ki, like a ray of sun and then a key to unlock something. Nice. It's a Japanese word. This is it's a Japanese healing practice that I believe was a rediscovery of ancient healing practices that have been really recognized and implemented by all different cultures. So the word ray means spiritually intuitive, and the word ki means energy. You might say universal in energy, so that's the spiritually intuitive healing energy or a life force energy. So it is non-denominational. It's really just this recognition that everything is made of energy, and energy can't be created or destroyed, but it can be shifted and reshaped to heal. So, oh man, well, I don't even remember what the original question is.
No, you answered it. What is Reiki? And I know a lot of people who think it is a religious practice or it's a spiritual practice. And what you just defined is it's energy. It is spiritual, but you did not mention it's a specific religion or, a religious practice or anything like that. And I think that really dispelled a lot of myths that people think that it's calling upon maybe some evilness or something like that, but it is energy, and we are all energy. I believe my animal, and I want you to talk about that if you think that is true, but my dog has energy. People around us have energy, and when people pass away, their energy never dies. Now, that's my personal belief, and you have your beliefs. Let me know. Comment down in the chat. Let us know what are your beliefs about energy and what happens and what lives in us. I'm curious to know that. So you defined that so well, and you really answered my question. What was it, like a spiritual or a practice? And it is spiritual. We're all spiritual beings. We're all energy. Okay, so.
And even as you're saying that, like, I'm feeling chills in my body. And I just want to name that Reiki it's everything, and sometimes feels like nothing because there aren't really the words to describe it. Like, I think that a Reiki experience could be any exchange of energy. Like right now, you sharing that perspective, me receiving that. Like you're offering that and I'm receiving it and I'm having my own experience. I feel like other Reiki experiences that people might have felt before are serendipities. So like you're out somewhere, you run into someone you just talked about, or you're thinking of someone and then they call you. Or you're eating something and it's just so good, it's just nourishing you, and you're like, this is soul food, this is comfort food. Listening to beautiful music and just getting a feeling of, just that yes. So
yes, and we have all experienced that. Even what happened with you and I and how we met up. We instantly bonded and clicked and knew that this was right.
Right.
And whenever the right time was, it came. And that's what you're talking about. You're talking about that connection. So I love this. I want to know how you got into it. Viewers, you can clearly see this is a young person. And to have this kind of knowledge and actually be called a practitioner, like how did you get into it and what are there levels to this learning, and just help us to understand a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely. So I definitely believe that I was meant to be practicing Reiki and sharing this with as many people as I possibly can. I am half Japanese and half Eastern European. My aunt on my white side of the family trained in Reiki when I was in middle school. And I remember one day she was like, hey, do you want to try this new thing I learned? And she's my role model. Like, I've always really looked up to her. So I was like, anything for you.
Yes, Auntie.
And she was like, what's going on with you? And I was like, oh, my heart really hurts. I was going through a little middle school romantic drama. My body really hurt from playing sports. And so she was like, okay, thanks for sharing. And she was like, just lay on this bed and I'm just going to put my hands very gently on parts of your body. And I just knocked out. Like I fell into a deep, deep sleep and I woke up, it was nighttime and she had just let me lay there because we were at her house. And I was like, what just happened? Like I had never felt so relaxed and then so rejuvenated when I woke up. And it wasn't necessarily that my relationship got better or that my injury healed overnight, but I felt so revived. And so I was so blessed to be able to receive Reiki from her when I would see her. And then I did my own training starting in college. So I did level 1, which is where one learns how to do hands-on Reiki and learns all about the history and the Reiki principles. And then I did level 2 later in college, which is when one becomes able to offer Reiki throughout time and space. So to someone or something in the future or in the past or on the other side of the world, because again, it's all energy. So time and space are really just dimensions that we can transcend. And then I did my master level when I was in end of 2019. And then life got really hard. I went through a really, really hard breakup. And then COVID happened. And it was this really, really crazy complete drop from the highest I'd ever felt energetically. I was just really living at a high frequency for this training, and then I dropped. We dropped. It felt like, and I realized that it was time for me to share this with people in a new way, not just to give Reiki to myself and to my closest loved ones and here and there to some people who are interested, but to really start my own business and put my services out there. And so I started First Light Reiki, which is my business. And I was doing Reiki out of my house. I bought a massage table and people were coming over and it was a really great way for me to kind of reshape a lot of pain that I had been feeling with the pandemic, with the Atlanta spa shootings in 2021 against Asian women. It was kind of all of these suspicions that I had as a mixed race person, as a queer person, were really brought to the surface of collective awareness of people are, can I swear?
Yeah.
People are fucked up, there is a lot of heaviness and there's a lot of room and need to talk about these things and to heal and almost also a nonverbal way, and just a very energetic way that's accessible to people of all backgrounds.
So I love the fact that you're talking about healing. And we have not talked about the concept and your direction and your foundation for why you wanted to even do this. And it is not, again, y'all, not a coincidence that you're on Healing Overflow. And I feel like that's my purpose in even offering this podcast is to help heal, and we heal in different ways from different things. And I love the fact that you said, I'm not going to hold it to myself. I want to help people.
Oh, yeah.
I want to help people heal from pain. You also mentioned physical pain. And that's something I've been curious about. Does Reiki help with physical pain? Okay. Do you have examples from your practice about emotional and physical pain? Does this work is my question.
So I really love that question. I like to specify to people I work with that Reiki, it's kind of a reshaping of healing. We're not curing,
Right.
we're healing. And I think that's just, it might be a slight tweak, but the language matters to me because we're working towards a more optimal version of something, whether it's like a person or a plant or something like that. And we're not as attached to the erasure of an ailment. Like, I think that Reiki is beautiful because we're working with the signs that we're receiving, whether it's like symptoms, like physical symptoms, emotional symptoms, and we're saying, what can I learn from this? And how can I nudge the dial a little bit closer towards cured? But like it's in this spectrum, it's in this gray area of healing that I think there's so much that we can learn from. So yes, it heals emotional pain, mental discomfort, physical discomfort. I had a family friend who's also a Reiki practitioner and an artist, so he really depends on his hands, and he had an accident where his finger almost completely got cut off.
Oh my.
And so as you can imagine, there was so much pain there. There was, of course, physical pain, and there was a lot of stress and fear that he wouldn't be able to recover and do his vocations, which he loves and his living's based off of. And so he came to see me. His own Reiki was only going so far, and he's a really strong healer. But he just, got to relax on the table, and I didn't just focus on the finger. It was the whole body. It was the other hand. It was like his head. It was just everywhere, wherever it felt right, and he healed up really quickly after that. It was kind of this last little boost towards him being healing, and he said he just felt a lot better. He felt a lot more trust that he was able to heal, that he was going to be able to return to his profession. So that was really cool, and I was really
cool.
I was really excited to hear that, because when I'm doing Reiki with someone, I have this intention to help guide that this energy is going to help guide them towards their highest healing good. But I don't know what that is necessarily, and I can't attach to it. I can't. It's much like therapy. It's not about us. It's about the client. And so
that's correct.
Right. If we let our egos get in the way and decide that we're only succeeding in our field if someone's diagnosis disappears, or if XYZ, then we're kind of working against nature there.
For sure.
We're just a player in so many different.
We plant seeds.
We do plant seeds.
And the person waters it and nurtures it, and we can help lead them and guide them into how to nurture that seed. But we're not out there people are just cured out of nowhere.
Right. We're not magicians. We're not playing God here.
Right. No secret magic tricks going on. Reiki is another way to reach healing. It's just another method. So that's why I really wanted you on the show. Once I had a better understanding, I said, oh my goodness. Now, we have a lot of folks out there that are researchers and doctorates, and hello to my colleagues at the University of Pittsburgh School of Social Work. Is there research behind this? Are we late in catching up on research, or there's some things out there? Just kind of let us know what's out there in research and documentation.
So there are some research studies that Reiki has been proven to help people feel better, like in palliative care settings.
Right.
Really just increasing comfort. I will say that I don't do a lot of research with Reiki. I am almost scared. Maybe this is something that I could sit with more and look into more of why, but I'm kind of nervous to go into the scholarly part of Reiki, because again, I think it's something that is so powerful because it is very wordless by nature. So there are a lot more studies about quantum physics and this idea of energy being able to be shifted and kind of defying this linear way that we're taught to look at science a lot of times. And I know when you and I were talking about the podcast initially, I had brought up a flipping of evidence-based practice into practice-based evidence. Wait, was that it? Evidence? Practice-based evidence, right. So instead of being like, I have this theory, like how can I bring evidence in to fill the theory and prove it? It's like, I'm going to form my beliefs and my theories based on what I'm practicing and what I'm seeing from my practice. I like to call Reiki a return to a childlike state of wonder, because we're wiping away these layers of inhibitions and limiting beliefs and biases and prejudices that we learn and accumulate and often equate with wisdom that we don't always need in all these spaces. Like sometimes just peeling it back and being like, I'm going to be curious. I'm going to be humble about what I can learn today and what I notice. That to me is the essence of Reiki.
Yes, I love how you put that. That's exactly what you said when we talked. You put it beautifully, because we'll say, and we're taught, believe it if there's scientific evidence and proof and a lot of research out there, but there's a lot of anecdotal evidence that Reiki does work, and and you're seeing it in the lives of people. It worked for you, and the same happened with art therapy. You know, art therapists were called just doodlers and arts and crafts people, and then they started to see the track record of how often art therapy was used and how much it helped people. And it started to reverse the way folks thought about it.
Right.
I believe that's the same thing with Reiki. When I was doing some research on Reiki, I actually found lots of positive articles and lots of people talking about that this worked for me, and people saying that it wasn't a religious type of spiritual intrusion in your life, but it was moving energy. And so that really made me curious to want to bring somebody who actually studies Reiki and knows about the practice and is a master practitioner. Did you hear that? She didn't brag, but if you're a master of anything, that is pretty impressive. So I really want to see a demonstration, and I asked you, and I know it's not your regular practice to pull out of your studio and do a demonstration before everyone, but I had to see it. And I knew that you wanted to see it. So if you're listening, you might want to switch and look at your video of this, because a lot of it will not have sound from the two of them speaking, but you will be able to see an actual Reiki practice happening. And then at the end, we're going to give you information on how you can learn more about Reiki, how you can get a session if you're curious about it and you think that's something that could work for you. I'm going to have Lauren give her contact information, the website that is going up, brand new website going up. I'm so super proud of you. And we'll talk about that at the end. But right now, we're going to have Kihi come and be a participant. She's also an MSW student, and Lo's going to do her thing. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. You all just kind of be observers and watch, and let me know. Comment below. Do you feel the energy? Are you noticing that this sort of thing is happening? And are you attaching and connecting with it?
Right.
Let me also say that we talk about different treatment models. We talk about different ways of healing. One might be for you, one might not be for you, but you don't know it until you look further into it, try things until it works. So I'm so excited. You have something?
Yeah, I wanted to add just what you were saying, like notice if you're feeling it and the different modalities. That I like to tell people that any experience with Reiki is normal. So sometimes people might fall asleep like I did in the story I told you and continue to do so. They might laugh, they might cry, they might see images or hear voices. Sometimes people don't feel anything, and that's totally normal. So again, I like to think of it as like an open palm. So I'm using my hands and I'm channeling universal healing energy through me. So it's not my energy, and therefore I get to kind of step out of the way and take my attachment out of it. So I definitely encourage you, if you are listening or watching, or if you do get to experience Reiki one-on-one or hands-on Reiki, that you just kind of allow yourself to dissolve into the practice and to just trust that it's going to affect you however it's meant to, and that it's happening on such a cellular level that we get to take our busy brains off and just trust, which can be hard. It's simple, but maybe not easy.
But it could be a beautiful moment. All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go. Okay, Lo, so we have our demo girl here. And we are joined by Kihei. Okay, I make sure I got it right. Who is going to help you demonstrate what it's like when you come in to your studio and you get a Reiki session. Okay, go ahead, do your thing.
Alrighty, so prior to the session, I send an intake form to my clients, and the intake form asks how they're feeling, what brought them to Reiki, if there's anything that they think I should know in terms of boundaries, like physical boundaries, any places on their body that they don't feel comfortable being touched. And then once we get started and the client or recipient arrives, I'm always sure to let them know what I'm going to be doing. So I tell them that where my hands are going to go. I make sure that I have consent because this is really something I'm offering, and they get to choose if they want to receive it. So thank you for being here, Kihei.
Of course.
So is there anywhere in your body that you don't feel comfortable being touched today?
Thank you for asking. No, hit me with all of it.
So Reiki touch is light and it's predictable, so I'm going to let you know where I'll be placing my hands. I'm just going to be gently resting my hands, so not tickling, not massaging, just starting on your shoulders so you get a sense of the pressure, and then I'll do on top of the head, and then we'll do right on top of the heart. Does that sound okay?
Sounds perfect.
Okay, so like we talked about, every experience is normal, so just allow yourself to be here and just know that you've done everything you need to do just by arriving.
Okay, great.
Thank you. So I usually have music going. We'll see if we can add that. much for receiving from me.
Thank you.
Wow, you all, that was awesome. That was awesome. Let's switch chairs. I really want to talk to you and see what that was like for you. That was amazing, y'all. Just being in the room.
Thank you for observing, Dr. Toy. Thank you so much, Kihei. Come on in here.
Thank you for allowing me to observe that. I don't know, what everyone thought. That seemed very private. And you all let me have an opportunity to witness something that powerful. Y'all, it's hard for me to explain what I experienced. There were things that I observed. I want to know from you what that was like. And then I'm going to talk about some of my observations that I did not expect to have.
Oh, goodness. So that is my second time receiving Reiki from Lo, and the first was a full session. And just in that brief little snippet that you all got to see, I feel so grounded and so calm, and really just regulated. It's such a subtle art form, the deliberate hand placement, and it's so intentional, and yet you feel, like Lo mentioned earlier, like this childlike state of just peace and feeling held. And I think that as a society, touch is something that we are often so lacking in. And again, it's very, very soft, but just enough to feel where she's at in space, and that allows you to go even deeper into your own body. At least for me, I just become so aware of how I am, where I'm at, what I'm feeling. It's very subtle. It doesn't have to be super deep and profound, but just this deep appreciation for this practice and how ineffable the experience is. I mean, it's really hard for me, even right now, to come up with the words to put to the experience. And I think this practice could be complementary with any form of healing. I mean, I know that many people do it alongside therapy. People do it alongside, yoga, and it's just extremely beneficial. And I'm so grateful to be here with both of you. And very, very calm, very calm.
It is so calm in here. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for allowing me to bear witness to that, and thank you so much for demonstrating what you do on a regular basis. Thank you.
Kihei also is a level 1 practitioner and an MSW student and a yoga instructor.
Ooh, Kihei.
So Kihei's someone else you wanna keep up with.
Oh boy.
We appreciate you being here, Kihei.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
It's hard for me to put into words what I experienced, and I'm a wordy person, Lo, so it was very peaceful and quiet, and it's, so this is what I observed. You were like the epitome of peace. There was so much peace on you. That was really, it was just very calming and peaceful, and I saw you kind of getting ready and preparing to work. That's what it looked like. I'm preparing to work. And as you touched Kihei, it was very gentle. So there was nothing manipulative or it didn't seem like you were putting anything on her or in her or anything like that. And I noticed with Kihei, her breathing, I should ask what her gender her pronouns are. I'm going to make sure I'm getting she and her. Is it correct?
She, her.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I noticed that her breathing was deep and rapid at first. Probably because all of y'all are watching and I'm watching while she's being worked on. And then I noticed as you stood there, and it took a lot of patience to stand in that position, because we all want entertainment and action. We thought you were going to be like, you know, and it seemed like you waited until the time where you felt like, I now need to move. It's almost like you felt the energy and you needed to move with her energy. That's what I observed. Yes. And I noticed that Kihei's breathing started to become more relaxed. And I started to become more relaxed. I was like this, starting. Not that I'm nervous about anything, but I was excited about it. Right, and I'm kind of watching and something new, and I started to become relaxed as Kihei relaxed. Yeah. Like that was, I said, can you get vicarious peace? Right. Can you get...
I think so.
I think so. That was really like not what I expected at all. And it was really calming. I saw her become more calm and more peaceful. And then you transitioned out. And it was a lot of you allowing her to have autonomy there. It wasn't, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. It was, is that okay? And you were moving with her. Were my observations correct?
To a T.
Really?
Yeah, A++.
That is really exciting. That's very cool. And I almost knew, like, this is what's happening. And you didn't even explain it. I thought that was amazing.
Right. It's really important, like you said, to wait and ground down before starting something like that, because I don't think that my responsibility is to like read Kihei's energy or listen for voices, or I don't have those skills. Like I'm not a medium or a clairvoyant. I'm simply being as present as I can in my body, trusting and then observing how Kihei is responding. So sometimes people like their breathing like always deepens and slows down. Like we're really just letting the nervous system take a chill pill so that the healing can take place. Sometimes people fall asleep and are like really snoring, and I'm just kind of keeping an eye out, you know. I'm just like protecting them to have their experience.
And that's completely scientific, y'all. You know, for those of us that oftentimes look for research, restoring or reactivating the parasympathetic nervous system is a way of healing, especially from trauma and from stress. And so, you know, I witnessed that, and you were a part of that. But, you know, Lo, we don't have little Lo's sitting around our rooms, our homes. What can we do? Do you have some tips for the audience? What can we do to help ourselves? You know, if we can't get to the studio and get an appointment, or we are going to share that information because you might want to experience what Kihei experienced, but we don't have little Lo's sitting around. So what do we?
on a shelf.
Right. What do we do? Or there some things that we can do on ourselves?
Yeah, thank you. So first and foremost, just recognizing that we are energetic beings. So you're already accessing energy through your hands all the time. Reiki, becoming attuned, so like becoming trained in Reiki is really just bringing your frequency up, like turning the radio to a certain channel. So just know that you already have a lot of energy coming from your hands. And so I think what's something that's so beautiful about Reiki that Kihei mentioned is that it's this touch. It's this restorative touch that oftentimes is related to trauma, the way that we have been touched that's not, doesn't feel safe, didn't feel safe at the time, doesn't feel safe later. So just knowing that we have this beautiful ability to self-soothe with touch, like to really place a hand on our heart and to calm down. It doesn't mean that we're necessarily meditating, but just breathing, just being with ourselves, like noticing what the hand feels and then noticing what the body feels underneath it. We can use our breath to offer and to receive. So with an exhale, I'm offering this healing energy, and with an inhale, I'm receiving this healing energy. So that we remember that we are entire systems. We have these beautiful relationships with ourselves. And
it sounds like loving.
It is love. It is literally love energy.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
We deserve that. We need to do that more often.
Right.
That is something I do without knowing any type of practice. I put my hand on my chest and I breathe just to let myself know, like, I'm here for you.
Yes.
You're here today. You're okay. You know, I don't call myself Dr. Toy. I say, Toy, you all right?
Yeah.
You're good today.
Right.
How can we get more information about your practice? How can folks get an appointment? How can they learn more about Reiki and you? Or is there any contact information, website, anything?
Yes. So my email address is lauren.firstlight@gmail.com. My website is firstlightreiki.com. And then my Instagram is @firstlightreiki. And through all of those places, you can find my Calendly, which is my booking website. So you can schedule a session. You can reach out to me if you want to learn more and you're not quite ready for a session. I do packages, so there's a 1 hour rate, which is a regular session. Typically, we might bleed into 75 minutes just because there's so much. But then there's also a 3-session bundle with a discount to really encourage people to come back and work on themselves, but also like receive for themselves. I also teach Reiki level 1 and level 2 classes. So I have a level 2 class coming up on March 24th. So if anyone out there is listening and is level 1 trained, please reach out. You do not have to be my level 1 student to be trained by me for level 2. And I'll be running a level 1 probably sometime this summer for folks who want to learn how to do this for themselves. And I want to clarify, if you learn Reiki, it doesn't mean that you have to start a practice, start a business, go on Dr. Toy's podcast, although you should, because it's so fun. But just like having that self-care tool, like you said, it really just deepens whatever self-care practices you're already doing.
Beautiful. Well, we'll be reaching out. I thank you so much, Lo, for coming on here.
Thank you.
Really, a lot of the myths that I had are gone, and I hope that it was very insightful and enlightening to you all as well. So thank you so much for coming on and demonstrating. Oh, go ahead.
But lastly, I just wanted to clarify that I'm currently practicing at Sneha Yoga and Wellness Collective, which is in Lawrenceville. So I have my little room set up. I have a massage table. So you can opt in for a seated session or lay down and on your back and just let your body dissolve. And if any listeners out here want to book a session, you can use reach out to me, letting me know that you listen to this, and I'd love to offer you a 20% discount off of any service.
Oh, a healing overflow
Overflow with healing.
Wow, that's very generous of you. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you interjected and said, wait, I forgot, because that's very important. I love that. A healing overflow discount. It's our first. Yes, won't be the last. Awesome. Well, this has been an amazing podcast today. Thank you so much, Healing Overflow family, for joining me once again for Healing Overflow with Dr. Toy. You know already what to do. When you heal, your healing overflows onto everyone else. So keep watching, listening, and keep sharing. Bye, y'all. Till next time. See you later.